Hey everybody, it's Chad. Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for Sunday Night Live chat. Got a few of us on YouTube already. Bill's here. Rusty Nails is here. Looks like we are connected on Facebook, if it decides to cooperate tonight. But as usual, we are live on two formats, Facebook and YouTube. So we're going to give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications, get on with us, and then we will get rolling into tonight's chat. As always, questions, comments, be sure to throw them up. We'll sure try to address them. It seems like I always miss a few every week when we get busy, but that has a tendency to happen when we do this, so I apologize. But I always try to catch as many of them as I can. And also, if we get trolls on, you guys are great about running them off. I'm not going to address them. I'll ignore them to make sure that they know that they're not getting my attention. And you guys are great about taking care of them, so I appreciate that as well. Joe's on with us on Facebook. Kim's on YouTube. BW's Garage is here. Big Job's made it back tonight. So a lot of familiar faces jumping on. Glad you guys are here. Brandon's here. We'll see how things hold up on Facebook tonight. Like I said, it's been a total crapshoot. I need to get a new router to try to get to maximize this fiber that I've got. But I'm on fiber, and I should be a lot faster, but we're still having feed issues on Facebook. Kevin made it. Lee from New York's on. Thomas is on. So good crowd jumping on already right out of the gate. We'll give everybody a few more seconds before we get rolling and then get into tonight's chat. Jerry's on, Joe's on. So we got some people jumping on with us on Facebook. So hopefully that feed will continue to hang in there. You never quite know with Facebook, but we'll see what happens. Robert's on. Glad Robert made it tonight. As always, if you are on Facebook and we do continue to have feed issues, you can always jump on over to YouTube. We are live as well there. If you are on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, please remember I cannot see those comments on that page. The comments, if you are on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, you'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook to comment or participate in trivia, or the Nobody Show page on YouTube. So Jim's on YouTube. Corky from Illinois made it. Chris is on YouTube as well. So good crowd jumping on again tonight. As always, super appreciate you guys coming back. Your guys' participation is what makes this what it is. So that's what's fun about it. And like I said, a lot of times I don't have the answers, but a lot of times some of our other viewers do for some of our other viewers. So, but that's what it is. It's a group of gearheads hanging out, and that group is is getting pretty strong and a lot of great people. So Tim from Canada's here. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get rolling. As always, questions, comments, be sure to throw them up there. This weekend, like I've been telling you, I was at Mecum, Kansas City for 3 days. We tried to do a few lives from there, and it just did not work. Mo's calls on with us as well. Had terrible connection problems. We did get one live in. I was going to do another one like I promised you guys that afternoon. Could not get it to connect. Fought it for about an hour. Tried it about 3 or 4 times over that hour. Finally got it to connect, and 30 seconds after it connected, it dropped it again. So just had a real struggle trying to get it to work. Did run into the owner of the 49 Ford cab over ramp truck. He was a good friend of Rico's. Rico's on here with us quite a bit. So he did he spent a few minutes with me. We did a walk around on that super cool Art Deco 49 Ford ramp truck. And I'll be posting that video on YouTube here as soon as we get done tonight, actually. I tried to get it up yesterday. Once again, I fought the Wi-Fi, couldn't get it to go. Got back to the shop this afternoon and deleted what it was trying to do from yesterday. And then just, boom, it popped right up today. So it is on. And I'll get that video launched on that super cool red and white 49 Ford COE ramp truck that sold yesterday at Mecum. Hammer was $105, so that made total price like $115,000. So Don from Nashville made it tonight. Glad you're here with us. But as always, it's a great time. We have a ton of fun, but I will get that video up. I've got some other clips that I may stitch together and throw up if you guys want to see them. But like I said, the lives just would not cooperate. I don't know if it was the Wi-Fi there or what, but I just fought it. And just eventually it just wasn't going to cooperate. So we did get one in. We did have several of you on there with me when we did that, which was a good time. Chevy fam from Vegas is on. Glad you're here with us tonight. But as always, it's a great time. We had a big group of guys, 15 or 20 of us, and that's what not only makes those fun, but that's what our hobby's about: hanging out with your friends, checking out a bunch of cool cars. Amy and Ryan from Illinois are on YouTube. Glad you guys made it tonight. But we're in the car hobby because it's fun. We enjoy it. We have a lot of friends, and that's what we do when we go to Mecum. We had, like I said, 15 or 20 of us in our group. What does shock me is out of all those guys, nothing came home with our entire group back to Great Bend. We had one guy from Eastern Kansas that hangs out with us quite a bit. His wife bought a 38 Chevy sedan out of the Tommy Thompson collection. But, really just nothing that really tripped anybody's trigger. And we're super, super strong. Shocked at how strong the market was on a lot of those cars that we saw. Obviously, as we've been talking on here quite a bit lately, the market has been very strong, and absolutely no signs of that slowing down based on what I saw this weekend. The only part that was probably frustrating that were a lot of late model Corvettes and a lot of late model Mustangs. And, those, to me, those aren't my thing. I don't want to watch 10 or 15, mid 2000s and up Mustangs roll across the block, but they did have a big collection of it. Now, as far as Mecum's concerned, they want to sell the cars there. They'll sell cars. I understand that. But for me, it just wasn't that interesting watching Mustang after Mustang. So Shane from Nebraska is here. Glad you're on tonight with us on Facebook. So like I said, we'll see if Facebook hangs in there. If it doesn't, you guys on Facebook, you're always welcome to jump over to the Nobody Show channel on YouTube and hang out with us there as well. Once again, if you're on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. You need to be on the Nobody Show channel on YouTube or the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook, because the video is shared to the Nobody Show page on Facebook. But there were a lot of cool things there that we did get to see. There was an Amphicar there, which are always cool. Pretty nice Amphicars. Neat to just check one of those out. I've seen several of them before, but it's neat always to see another one and walk around it. Chris from Iowa, and Oldsmobile fans on with us. Glad you're here, Chris. Something you don't hardly ever see. There was a Nash Healey there. Had an opportunity to look that car over a little bit. Those are a super cool little car. So, and like I said, there's always a ton of neat stuff. We showed you a quick sampling of them on the video the other day when we did get the live in. And then the video that I did that I posted Friday night, I showed you some cool stuff there, but had around 800 cars on the property. So they had a really wide selection, but some of those collections of Corvettes and Mustangs and things like that, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take too many of those cars to get tired of watching this similar type stuff roll across the block. But kind of surprising that, obviously nothing came home with us, but other than the car that my buddy bought that's going to Eastern Kansas. But, we drug an empty trailer back to Great Bend, which was kind of odd with a lot of the guys that, in our group that were there, kind of looking around, trying to scout out something new. BW's Garage. Kim and I saw a great wagon today, the Pontiac Safari. Those are cool too. I love Safaris. Depends on what year it is, whether it's a 55 to 57 two-door hardtop, because Pontiac used the Safari moniker on wagons for several years. So Glenn from Minnesota's on with us. Mac Zaddy's on. He liking the machinery. So, but like I said, the entire point of doing this stuff, and that's what's great about collector auto auctions. That's why we started our own, is hanging out with a ton of friends, checking out a ton of cool cars, and having a great time. And that's what's important, and that's what makes it fun. See, Kevin saw the video on the Safari. I'll have to check that one out. We'll check out BW's Garage and check out that Pontiac wagon. Rat Gas Garage is on with us from Washington. Glad you're here. It is a 57, BW says. So it is a 57 Safari, which are super cool. But anyway, what other cool stuff was at Mecum? The Tommy Thompson collection. Tommy is a super great guy. He helped my buddy Scott Palmer out with his Top Fuel car for a few years when they ran the full NHRA circuit with Top Fuel. I met Tommy a few times hanging out with Palmer. Tommy's a great dude. And I don't know if he sold his entire collection or just a portion of it, but he sold a bunch of stuff, no reserve, on Saturday, and a lot of nice cars. So there was we got some of that stuff in the video the other night. Checked out a few of those things. And but like I said, Tommy had some great cars. It was there, and that was one thing about the Tommy's collection. There was a lot of great diversity in there. They had a black blown Willys coupe with a blown Hemi in it. That was pretty cool. Robert says surprises of the auction. Obviously, like I sent Robert a picture of this, the Mark V Lincolns were super strong. But of course, everything was super strong. Let's see, big job. Social media is probably a way cheaper way of selling, possibly because they're leasing for less classics with the price of commissions. Now, there were a lot of classics there, big job. There really were. It just, there was just so much of the newer stuff that it just got old watching it go across the block. Now, there was 800 cars there, so you got to understand, I'm talking about certain segments of the auction that got kind of boring. There was still a really wide variety, and you can see a lot of that on the video that we posted Friday night. That there was a ton of cool stuff there. Don't get me wrong, but just like I said, there was a lot of earlier stuff there as well. Alan and C's here. Oh, you're not too late. Just a couple of minutes. Let's see. Shopcat Industries is here. Glad you made it. So, BW got corrected. Kim corrected him. It's a 56 Safari. So, Joe, any 60 to 66 Chevy pickups? There were a lot of 60 to 66 Chevy pickups there. And obviously the pickup market is hot, super hot. And there were tons of pickups of all different varieties out there. Something else that surprised me, and I didn't even realize, you hear the rumors about them, but there were several of them there, were the new Ford Broncos, 2021 Ford Broncos. I bet there were 4 or 5 of those there, and those things just broke the bank. I didn't even know what they brought, but one of my buddies was there, and I asked him, and what sticker price was versus what they were bringing. These things are bringing like 20 grand over sticker at the auction, plus auction fees. So, kind of surprised that to see that. But there again, I don't, I'm not looking for a new Bronco. I don't know anything about new Broncos, so not much there for me that I would know anything about. But there again, some of the stuff that to me wasn't that interesting. Joe got him another 60 Chevy pickup this weekend. K20 be a 4-wheel drive, so that should be an interesting piece. But that was another part of the auction that was very, very strong. Were pickups, of course. And that's right. Robert says there was a retro freewheel and paint scheme Bronco there as well. And there again, I don't know a thing about the new Broncos. I don't know what the options cost. I don't know what the rarity is of certain models. Don't know a thing about them. But my buddy that was there from Eastern Kansas, I asked him, and he's like, a loaded up ones with about everything is pushing 60, and there was none of these under 70 or 80. So apparently those are crazy hot too. But there again, nothing that I really knew anything about. It just surprised me to see that many of them there. And then when you find out they're bringing 20 grand over sticker at the auction, I guess that would make sense as to why owners are sending them there. But a decent amount of no reserve cars. Their sell-through rate was outstanding. Of course, with numbers being as strong as they were, you could have almost guessed that their sell-through rate was extremely strong. We talked to one of their lead ringmen Friday night when we were waiting on the shuttle, and he said on Friday they were 87% sell-through. So, but like I said, everything was strong. Everything I watched was strong. Everything that we looked at that we considered bidding on, that Dad had me go look at several cars that he was thinking about. And, even some of the cars I'd see issues with were still retail or better, even with some issues that I were seeing on them that wouldn't have necessarily been an easy fix. They would have taken some work. So just like I said, everything was just crazy strong. And it was kind of surprising coming back to Great Bend with an empty trailer. That was weird, but that happens sometimes. The right deals weren't there for the guys that were looking to buy. So we hung out, drank some beer, ate a bunch of good food, and looked at a ton of cool cars and saw some friends. So that's always important as well. And like I said, I'll get the video up on that 49 Ford COE after we get done tonight. I'll go ahead and get it kicked off. So big job. Do you have the footage yet? You couldn't get out. I've got several clips that I was going to stitch together that I have not done yet. We did the video that I put up Friday night from there, and then I've got the video on that 49 Ford COE ramp truck. So I'll pop that up right now. The other clips I've got are just short, quick walk-arounds of scanning some different cars and things like that. So I can stitch that together if you guys want to see that and toss it up too here sometime this week as well. Just so you kind of have a little better idea. of what we saw there. But like I said, what it all boils down to, even though we didn't bring any cars home, good friends, good food, cold beer, and a lot of cool cars. Not a bad weekend, no matter how you slice it. Plus, it's a couple days off, except now I'm behind, of course. That happens as well, but it's always fun. And like I said, I strongly encourage you to, if you have a collector auto auction in your area, to attend, whether it's a Mecum, whether it's a Barrett, or whether it's a smaller regional deal like what we do. There are several of those around the country as well. Even these smaller events with 100 cars, one-day deals are still a lot of fun. That's one thing. That's one of the most common pieces of feedback I get about our auction when we do the F&E Collector Auto Auction every October is we had a heck of a good time. I hear that from so many people. And that's what's great, and that's what makes it fun, because there again, even when it's on a smaller scale, it's still the same thing. You're looking at a bunch of cool cars, you're hanging out with your buddies, you're drinking some cold beer, and you're eating some good food. Pretty tough to go wrong at that, even if you don't buy anything. So, but anyway, like Robert was asked, surprise of the auction, there was a Mark V Bell Blast hammered at 28,000, 60,000 mile car, just a nice clean old car. There was 85 Eldorado. There was an 8,000 mile car, did 25 grand. We're really starting to see some of this 70s and 80s stuff get what I consider the respect that they deserve. Now, I consider it that because I grew up on those cars, and those are the cars I remember growing up. And I like a lot of that stuff. So the 70s, 80s, and even some of the 90s stuff, I like that. And we're really starting to see that market starting to heat up. There were a couple of, and these are a car that I've always loved, the late 90s Eldorados. I thought that car that came out in 93 or 94, and they made till just past 2000, was just an outstanding car when that car came out. I thought they were beautiful. My dad's actually got one that he drives occasionally, a 2000 with like 60,000 miles on it. It's a super, super slick car. They had a couple of those cars go through, and those were they didn't break 10 grand, but they were pushing 10 grand, $9,000 for nice clean cars. These are 20-year-old cars. So, I think some of those cars from the 80s and up into the 90s, some of the unique stuff like that, the Eldorados, obviously we're seeing it with the Trans Ams, things like that. I think that stuff's coming around. Some of the other stuff that I saw that brought really strong money, late 90s, early 2000s, special edition Monte Carlos. There were 3 or 4 of those there. They were bringing decent money. There were some Dale Jr. editions or some pace cars, things like that. Those, those cars were, I think we're getting strong for cars that essentially were 20 to 25-year-old used cars. I think the collector market is starting to pay attention to some of that stuff. So, and that's something that we all need to think about. And like we've talked about before, if a kid shows up and he's got a car from the 90s and he's working on it, trying to fix it up, we need to understand that is the next generation. That is the next generation of this hobby coming forward. And we need to make sure we embrace them, whether we dig the fact they're working on a car from the 90s or not. That is part of this hobby and is going to be a more and more predominant part of this hobby as we go forward. So we all need to keep that in mind. And we're starting to see that in auction results. So I've known for a long time this was going to happen, and we've been talking about it on here a lot, and we're starting to see it happen. BW's Garage had a great part shopping today. Eldorado, some other Eldorados. Yeah, there were some other Eldorados there that were really cool. I don't remember all what we had on that video. I think we did catch there was a 78 Baritz coupe with like 8,000 miles, 6,000 or 8,000 miles on it. There was a couple of 75, 76 Eldorado convertibles. And that stuff is cool. I like that stuff. Dad bought a 76 Eldorado convertible at my auction last year with like 15,000 miles on it. I love that car. I think it's a great car. Those cars are starting to get some appreciation. Darren, how crazy were the Boss Mustangs? There was only 1 or 2 of them, and I don't even think I seen them sell. BW says, yep, that was it was the Baritz, the tan and brown interior. And that was a super slick car. I don't remember what it brought, but I really think that we're going to see those cars continue to appreciate. I think I don't see them being neglected anymore as they kind of have been for a long time. Number 1 made it tonight. Robert, what did the 83 Aero Firebird do? They had a pair. They weren't a match set, but there were two of them there of the Trans Am Indy pace cars, or not Indy pace cars, Daytona pace cars. I think those are the 83s you're probably talking about. Those cars were mid-teens, I believe. There again, two cars you don't hardly ever see. The Daytona 500 pace car, and I believe it was an 83 Trans Am. My sister's got one that she's had since high school, but I don't remember if it was an 83 or an 84, but I think it's an 83. But they were both mid-teens. Chris, any 90 IROCs at the auction? No, there were not any 90 IROCs. There was a real nice 85 that we watched real close that we were thinking about bidding on, but it got right up at 20. So, and it did sell right around 20, but there were no 90s, especially with 90 being a short year. There's not very many 90 IROCs out there at all, since that was the last year before Dodge took the contract on the IROC stuff. But BW said he would drive that car with a feather in his hat and a toothpick in his mouth. Yeah. That would be the way to roll in that car. But and there again, just like we were talking about with the Daytona pace car Trans Ams, the IROCs, we're really starting to see some of those third gens command decent money, and it's going to continue to happen. I think we're just at the beginning of them. I think we're going to see third gens start to outpace first gens and second gens here probably sometime soon. Now the first gens, Firebirds and Camaros, are still extremely popular. The thing about, one thing about 69 Camaros, they are at every auction. They're at every car show, and, so I don't get that excited about them. I don't pay a ton of attention to them, but, I know a ton of people do like them. But what these third gens are starting to do, and we're starting to see it in the fourth gen, some of the rare fourth gens, like we talked about with my 02 Trans Am, some of the pace cars, some of the limited edition cars they made in fourth gens. I think it's time to start buying all that stuff. If there's one of those that you want for your collection, now's the time to get it. And we're really starting to see proof of that this weekend at a lot of these auctions. Number one, shopping for a 54 Buick Coupe and 36 Chevy Coupes on Kijiji, which I believe, if I remember correctly, Kijiji is like the Canadian Craigslist, from what I've been told from some of our Canadian viewers. So anyway, that's kind of my personal recap of the auction. We'll get a little bit more content up on YouTube. Like I said, I'll pop that cab over video as soon as we get done tonight. I'll go ahead and kick it off. And then I'll get some of those other just random clips stitched together and, throw that up maybe tomorrow night or something. So, but like I said, I always had a great time. Number one says, correctamundo, Chattinator. So, okay, I did remember something that you guys from Canada have taught me. So, I do pay attention sometimes. Kevin's on. You're a little bit late, but he made it. Well, that's all right. You're not too late. We're just wrapping up the Mecum conversation right now. So, but if anybody else has any questions or comments about any of the vehicles they saw, if there's something I remember about them, we can sure talk about them. But like I said, what it all boils down to, good friends, cool cars, cold beer, and good food. Not a bad weekend. Plus, we were there for 3 days, so I actually did get out of town for a few days. Kind of, let you unwind a little bit, relax a little bit. So, and that's always important too. So, next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is it is now December. It is December 5th. And we're coming up, obviously, on the end of the year. We've been doing this deal for a little over a year and a half. Well, it'll be 2 years here coming up February, I think. So what I'm going to ask you guys is over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Number one, no, there were no favorite of the motion action beer signs. In fact, their memorabilia was very, very weak. Eloy made it. Glad you're here. The memorabilia at Mecum this weekend was basically just the new neon signs. So nothing too exciting. I mean, they're great man cave pieces. But I'm a dealer for that company. So there's not really any point in me buying them there when I'm a dealer and I can order them by the pallet myself. So, but that was really about it for memorabilia. So the memorabilia was very, very thin this year in Kansas City. So, Rusty Nail says it was nice this weekend in Illinois. It was nice here until today. I got back, and actually that's why I'm a little unprepared for tonight, because after I did get back, it was so nice today. I had to try to squeeze some stuff in outside that wasn't exactly on the agenda. My agenda was get back from Kansas City, regroup, and get everything finished up for tonight. I had I kind of had tonight pen sketched out, but I didn't have it done. I thought, well, I'll be back in time. I'll knock it out and have plenty of time. It was 65 degrees and sunny when I got back. So I was like, I got to get this done and this done and this done and this done. So I'm a little unprepared for tonight. I got it squeezed in, but not near as prepared as I typically would be. Big job. Where did the 54 F100 go for? The black 79 F100. I don't think I saw either one of those go across the block. So those I don't remember for sure. You'd have to look those up on Mecum on their website. So, but anyway, where I was going with this is obviously going into a new year and trying to decide what direction to go with this thing. What do you guys want to do? What do you guys want to see? Or do we even want to keep doing it? I mean, is there enough interest to even keep doing it? We so far, we typically have a pretty good crowd on. We're a little bit thin tonight on numbers, but who knows? I mean, that varies every week. Sometimes you get a lot of people, sometimes you're a little thin. But I want to think about over the next 3 or 4 weeks as we roll into 2022 that what do you guys want to see? Do you like doing badges? Do you like doing magazines? Do you not like doing badges? Do you not like doing magazines? Things like that. What's your opinion? Do we want to just get on here and talk and not necessarily have a topic? Do you want me to pick one topic that we just have open discussion on? There's 1,000 different ways we can do this thing. And I want, your guys' ideas as well to be rolling around in your head over the next couple weeks, because we're going to be touching on that every week. So I'm just kind of be rolling around in the back of your heads what you guys may or may not want. And we will, and I'll start penciling some of that stuff in. Maybe we just keep doing the same thing we're doing. Maybe we change it. Maybe we don't do it anymore at all. I mean, who knows? It's whatever you guys want. So that's why I'm putting the bug in your ear now to be thinking about it. What do you guys want to do? What do you guys want to see? And what's the best way to do it as we roll into 2022. So throwing that out there now so everybody can kind of start thinking about it and kicking that around a little bit. So, I remember that 54 big job when I walked past it, but I don't remember what they brought. Number one, have I had any surplus Army or military staff cars? No, not that I know of. I don't know of anything that I've had that was actually a military staff car. The only thing I had that was kind of interesting vehicle-wise, I had a 51 Ford fuel tanker that was an Air Force fuel tank truck at one point, but not a lot of military vehicles at all. I do have a bomb trailer. If you need to load a bomb, I've got a trailer that you can put your bomb on and go load it into your airplane. I did find that one time, so I do have that. Bill says, hit the like button. Thanks, Bill. You've always got my back on that. I always appreciate that. Number one, I think over the holidays, that could be true. Number one, as we get into the holidays, people are going to get busier and busier, and that's a very good point. Number one, that we may see some fluctuation in numbers because of that too. Kevin, the Mercury Woody wagon was awesome. Yeah, that car was pretty cool. Looked like it was mostly original driver quality, and it did not sell on the block unless they got a bid on it or got an offer on it after the fact. But that car didn't sell on the block. But it was a neat car, super unique. I don't think I've ever seen one in person. Let's see, Joe. That's right, Joe. And don't let me forget, because we'll start working some World War II stuff in as well. We definitely want to do that. I know you want to see it, and I love that stuff too. So we'll definitely try to keep working some of that. Start working some of that stuff in. BW's Garage loves the badges, and the magazines are as Americana as it gets. So, okay. Well, maybe we're on the right track with some of that stuff. John, any T-bucket parts? I don't have any T-buckets at all right now. There's a lot of miscellaneous Model T parts over in the new yard, but I haven't even sorted through some of it and don't even really know for sure what's there. But there's not really any bodies in there at all, just miscellaneous pieces. Big job. It's your show, and keep doing your thing, even if you mix it up, because your audience is growing, Father Chad. Well, thanks, Big Job. I appreciate that, but I still like to ask. I don't like to just say this is what we're doing, because that's what I say we're doing, because it's everybody's opinion, and that's what makes this a group of us on here doing it. Kevin, the 67 to 72 C10 sell high. Yeah, that stuff was all pretty strong. Chevy Fam is a 59 wagon and 59 El Camino he needs parts for. Only I've gotten 59 car right now are a couple of Bel Air 4-doors. So no 59 wagons or El Caminos on that. Eloy bid on the blue and white 57 Chevy hardtop of the auction yesterday. Yeah, there was like that. I assume you were probably bidding online because there was a lot of they had a lot of online and telephone action as well yesterday. Number one, badge engineering, turkey hunting, and dirty magazines are all part of Sunday night. I can't wait for the World War II stuff to be added. We'll definitely start working some of that stuff in. I don't know what's going to be the best way to, work some of that World War II stuff in because, it doesn't really fit Toy Tuesday. I guess some of it could fit Toy Tuesday as memorabilia, so maybe we start trying to work some of it in there. One thing I got to do if we're going to do some of that, I got to quit buying so much other stuff to work into Toy Tuesday. Brandon, church services every Tuesday and Sunday at 7. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate that. Jim, Sunday night is fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Started out 35 minutes and going near 2 hours. Yeah, and that's another thing that concerns me, Jim, is we are going almost 2 hours. And, and that's, to me, that seems long. If you guys are still enjoying it, then great. That's a lot of time out of people's nights. But if we're enjoying it and having a good time, I'm cool with that. I'm afraid of running people off because it is getting too long. So but there again, that's why I'm asking. If somebody's got different ideas, we can try to work some of that in. I try to keep enough information to have a good episode. And, a lot of that going that long is audience participation, just like we're doing now. Your guys' comments that we work into the chat, but that's why it's a chat. That's why I've always called it a chat. So, your participation and support is what's pushing it that long, which is great because that means I know you guys still want to be here. So, Big Job says, what the old commercial always says, Mikey likes it. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys still like it. And like I said, we'll keep discussing that over the next couple of weeks to see if there's something you guys want to add, want to take out, things like that. So we'll just keep that in the back of your head, and because I'll be bringing it up, and just for ideas. So Bill's there hit his hand to hit the like button. And Bill, you got my back. I appreciate that. You're always there for me. Hit the like buttons. If you're on YouTube, throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we're on. Invite them to come over and join the chat and to hang out with us. And I've even got some of you guys have even thrown some super chats out on YouTube, which is awesome. The fact that you are willing to throw a few bucks out there to financially support the time it takes to put this thing together. So the super chats are awesome. I'm still amazed that some of you guys have done it, but I always super appreciate those too, because that's awesome. Let's see. Eloy says, keep doing it the way we're doing it. Doing a great job. Thanks, Eloy. Appreciate that. Number one, I'd rather add this into my evening and fidget or putz around watching the Lions play. So Kevin, would you be up for doing a War Memorial stuff maybe another night like Thursday? That's a possibility. It's just the time. But I'll think about that, and maybe we just do it for maybe if I get a few pieces of video put together, maybe we'll just start throwing some of it up on Thursday nights. So maybe I can work, start, and there may just be some short clips of this piece or that piece as we start working through some of it. What are you doing, Great Kitty? Yes, are you going to help out tonight? We have some help tonight. Hello, Gray Kitty. Yes, hi, how are you? So, I guess we're going to have a little assistance for a while. Yes, hello. She's actually, this cat was 200% stray about 4 years ago. She was so wild that you couldn't get within 10 feet of her. Now she's a pain in the butt. She won't leave me alone half the time. She will jump up here and lay right in the middle of the desk and make herself right at home. So I guess she's going to hang out with us for a little bit tonight. Let's see. So we'll see what we can do, Kevin, and maybe I'll start getting some clips put together on some World War II stuff. Maybe we do post on Thursday on that. David W. made it tonight. Tim's here. Glad you're here. Matt Martin Designs is here. Kevin says, Rusty Nails, no name. Well, not really. I just call her Gray Kitty. she's a real unique gray and tan. I just started calling her Gray Kitty. Like I said, she was 200% wild. I trapped her in the shop about 3 or 4 years ago. One night it was supposed to be like 15 degrees out. So I lured her into the shop with some food and slammed the door behind her, and she kind of freaked out. And now she's tamed down to the point where she's almost a pain in the butt and won't get out of the way when we're trying to work. So let's see, Martin Designs is here. Kevin says she's here for the magazines. Yeah. Kim says she's a good assistant. Oh, that's all right, Martin Designs. All we've done is talked about Mecum, Kansas City, so you caught that. Jim says that's what cats do best. Yes, be a pain in the butt. You're a very good pain in the butt, that's for sure. Al likes, NC likes her. Rusty Nell says Primer. You want your name to be Primer? Because you kind of look like Primer. What do you think of that? Huh? What do you think of that? Yes, hello. Yes, for being a completely wild stray cat, you don't look very wild or stray anymore. Number 1 says Toy Tuesday needs a logo for T-shirts. Hadn't thought about that at all, but that's kind of a good idea too, because it is kind of turning into its own deal. So I'm going to jot that down in my notes section here. And number 1, I appreciate that. Yeah, this cat took Don's place. They were actually both around here for a long time. But this one just kind of is a pain in the butt. But yeah, we still, and Don, like I said, Don was old and sick, and I'm assuming he went and laid down somewhere, which kind of stinks because I kind of miss him. I'd gotten used to him being around, but yeah, we got the Gray Kitty now. So Lee says make Tuesday night longer. It's been better since Sunday night has been going longer. Okay. And we'll see how that works out. A lot of Toy Tuesday, we don't get as many people on Toy Tuesdays. And like I said, but there again, if it continues to grow and we have more comments and more participation, it will get longer. And maybe I'll throw an extra piece or two in. Like we've talked about, you guys want to see some stuff that's for sale. Got a whole pile of cans that are going to be for sale. I'm going to start working some of that stuff in. We showed a few toys the other or a couple weeks ago that I'm going to sell. So we'll start working a for sale section into Toy Tuesday as well. And we'll maybe add a little content to that also. Windsurfer's here, number 1. Yeah, she's good at that. She's good at just walking around and taking care of herself. Big Job likes Primer too. Martin Designs, how much for a T-shirt? That's actually in the text. I think they're 22 and 24. 24 double or for double and triple X. You can PayPal for shirts, or you can send me a check or money order or cash or whatever you want to do. So that's what, and that information is on. When we get down here, you can click on the video and look at the text part. That stuff's on there, or call me tomorrow. I mean, you can always call me tomorrow, and I can get a shirt on the way to you. So, but that's the deal on the shirts and that info. The details are in the text part. So, or like I said, always give me a call. Just give me a call tomorrow. We can get something done. Al got his oil can, and I think you won last week as well, because that can was from 2 or 3 weeks ago that I finally got shipped. So I've got your other one to ship too. Let's see. Vic's Primers has a sticker Brandon Wagon in World War II Wednesday. Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's see. Classic Ride Society made it tonight. Facebook seems to be kind of petering out on us. The viewers are dropping, and we are not getting any comments, so our feed might be getting weak over there, as it always is. So, but like I said, if you're still on there, YouTube is still going, and YouTube is actually, we're gaining a few more viewers over there, so maybe some of those are jumping over. And I've still got my helper here kind of in the way. So, yeah, say hi, Gray Kitty. Yes, say hi, Gray Kitty. Darren, maybe you do a thing on how to tell if a model's a promo or just a model. That'd be a good idea as well. Got a section for notes on my sheet. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. So, number 1, eventually we're going to have to buy a membership to be in intimate chat for the first hour, and then everyone can join the second. Classic Ride Side Daytona Turkey Swap Meet was great as always, and I'm sure Classic Ride Side is going to have some great footage coming up from the Daytona Turkey Swap Meet. So be sure to check his channel out as well. There, he always comes up with some great stuff. So, yep, there's lots of things happening, and like I said, just looking for ideas of what you guys do or don't want. And I don't really need any help right now, but I've got help. Yes. Yes, you're going to scold me now, aren't you? Yes, say hi to everybody. Say hi. Can you say hi? Big Job says we want to vote on Primer. You want your new name to be Primer? Say hi to everybody. Yes, hi, Gray Kitty. Yes. For a cat that was completely stray and completely wild and you couldn't get within 10 feet of her, she's a little different right now. You can just flop her around. Yes, it doesn't matter. So for a stray cat, you're not very stray anymore. So see, Martin Designs even said hi to you, Gray Kitty. I think your new name might be Primer, though. So that's what everybody's voting on. Thomas is on with us, been watching and coming back. So keep it up. And he wants to call you Primer, too. So she is a very unique cat, that's for sure, with all gray and tan. So, all right, you're also still in the way. But anyway, let's check out some badges. Let's check out a cool magazine. Let's do some trivia. Let's give away a truck, and so we'll keep boogieing along here, even though somebody's in the way. Yes, and everybody's wants to name you Primer. So, holy cow! Number one says it is negative 21 Celsius in Edmond, cold to light a beer in the garage. I don't know what negative 21 is in Celsius, but I don't care if it has a negative in front of it. It's too cold for me. I know that. Big Job says even his better half says Primer. Martin says Prime for short. Yes. Do you want to be called Primer? Everybody's voting on your name. Yes. You don't like that, do you? Yeah. You're getting a little nervous. Yes. Park it. Calm down. Classic Ride Society. There are a couple of guys crushing out their collection of cars by the end of the month that don't sell. Both properties sold. Although I assume those may be down in your area, Classic Ride Society, down around Texas. So there she jumped down. Maybe she got tired of us messing with her. So Martin says it's 52 in Alabama. That's a lot. That sounds a lot better than anything with a negative in front of it. Kevin, Chad, being in Kansas, do you ever come to the lake car auction in Tulsa? I have not. Well, actually, I kind of did because it's not lake anymore. It's Mecum. So we actually did go Friday morning last year. We went down to see our good friend Doug Prey at the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg factory. And then we went to, because I had some work I needed to do with Doug. And then we went to Mecum, Tulsa on Friday morning. And then we had to head back to Great Bend because Rocky Mountain Race Week started. So that's what, so it is a Mecum now. We did catch part of it this year. We'll see how the schedule looks next year, but I would say there's probably a good chance that we'll probably try to catch it again next year, unless it conflicts with, Rocky Mountain Race Week or something like that. So Martin Design says she's stage shy. Nah, she's just tired of being, I didn't stop everything and pay attention to her. So she just went back down for a little while. Classic Ride Society. Yeah. A yard by Austin and the others in Fort Worth. So hopefully some of you guys down there can save some of that stuff where it all goes to the crusher. Darren says negative 21 is about negative 5 Celsius. So, yeah, that's too cold for me. I know that for a fact because I don't like cold. I would rather be hot than cold. If it's hot, I can usually find a hose to run over my head and cool down. When I get cold, my toes get cold, my fingers get cold. I'm just cold until I physically go in somewhere and warm up so that it gets better out. Classic Ride Side. I've ever been to the Tulsa, Oklahoma swap meet. No, I have not. But I did see a flyer on that, and I was thinking about it next year because since I've become good friends with Doug Prey and have been doing quite a bit of work with the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Company and doing a lot of their Facebook posts and things, I did think that might be a cool one to go check out. So Rod's on Facebook. Glad you made it. Joe's got to run. We'll see you next week. Thanks for being here tonight for Joe, at least for a little while, Joe. Brandon 32 in Decatur, Illinois. That's still too cold for me. That's like freezing. Martin Design's not a cold fan of the cold either. No. Kevin, cool. I'll have to come out and make it to Tulsa next year. That's definitely the plans. I'd definitely like to. And that's right. Another thing, Martin, ears get cold. Same thing. Your ears, toes, fingers, stuff start getting cold. Done. And there's no way to warm up other than just go physically somewhere where it's warm and warm up. Classic Ride Side was thinking about Tulsa as well. So, yeah, and maybe we can hook up with some of that stuff next year. Rusty Nails 54 in Quincy. Number 1, are you going to be ready for the Nobody's 4th of July YouTuber car meet and yard build-offs? Apparently not. So, because I didn't know we were doing it, but we could. I mean, it's not out of the question. So, ooh, Dan's got 34 in windy and rain. BW is also the same thing. Feet are cold, you're done. Steve 66 in Kentucky. So we're literally from basically under 0 to 50, 60 degrees, which is cool. And what's cool about that is we've got people from all over the country hanging out with us tonight. That's the amazing part about it. And, and sometimes we have some viewers from, Scandinavia, England, Australia, New Zealand. We get some of those guys on with us as well. So, which is great that everybody gets on here and hangs out. So let's check out a couple of badges, and then let's get into this magazine, and then let's give away a Buddy L truck after a while. Tonight I got a set of badges again, like we did a set of Pontiac engine badges last week. We're going to do a set of Plymouth badges this week. Winged Plymouth badges. These are super. Number 1, actually, most Canadians know how to raise their temperature by 4 degrees Celsius just by breathing. They teach it in school. Never heard of that. Scott's on Facebook. Glad you made it, Scott. Hopefully Facebook keeps hanging in there. Eloy, it's time to get on the plane to go home. See everyone next week. Glad you made it for a while. Appreciate you swinging by and hang out with us for a while. So, anyway, this pair of Plymouth badges we're going to look at tonight, both winged, 1 grill, 1 trunk. Kevin says barrel fires keep you warm. Yep, that's true too. But here they are. They're super cool pieces. These are both 37s, 1 grill, 1 trunk. This is the grill. It mounts right up on the front of the car in between the 2 halves of the grill on the grill shell. Classic Ride site. It'd be pretty cool to do some YouTuber meetup. Absolutely. Do some YouTuber call outs to the drag strips. Absolutely. That would all be great. It'd be fun to get in some of that, to do some of that stuff. This badge is about 5 inches by 2 inches. It has the enamel Plymouth in the middle, and then this is chrome. This is a pop metal badge, as we can see on the back. And it is contoured to fit the grill. So this is a unique piece and a cool piece. This one's got a little bit of pitting in it on this particular piece, but it's minimal. Now, the other thing about it is there was also this one on the trunk to match this one on the grill. So a pretty cool set of badges. Kevin's a big fan of them. And this one, the trunk badge is about 7 3/4 long and about 2 3/4 tall. This one was screwed on the trunk with just little nuts. Once again, had an enamel badge very similar to the grill one in the black and white with the Plymouth. The grill one was actually not flat. The trunk one is flat, and Gray Kitty's coming up to check out the badges as well. Hi, Gray Kitty. What are you doing? Say hi to everybody. They're all watching you. Can you say hi? No, you just want to be in the way. So this badge was made to mount basically flat on the trunk. This one, like we looked at, was contoured to the grill. But there again, great pieces and good condition. I dig them. That's right. And BW brings up another good point. The pride and the quality of the era is awesome. And that is, I mean, this is a pop metal badge with all this, contours in it to show basically the wings. And then, of course, the enamel part of them. Great pieces. That's why I've taken them off, and that's why they're sitting on my shelf, which is dumb because I probably should sell them. But they're such great pieces that I dig them, and definitely figured they were well worth the badge section of tonight. A pair of 37 Plymouths, grill and trunk, in pretty good condition considering these things are almost 85 years old. These are original, and they are, if I don't drop them and break them, these things are almost 85 years old in this condition. So that's what I wanted to share with you for badges tonight. Enjoying doing those. I've got hundreds of them, so I'm glad you guys dig it and like to keep checking those out as well. How about a magazine? Let's get into a magazine. Big job. Trunk badge on someone's toolbox always looks cool. Yep, especially since that's a flat mount deal. Jim Petty, back then they even put the ship on the taillight lens. Yep, or sometimes in the trunk light type lens too. rusty nails, and now it's plastic. That's right. It's all plastic anymore. So let's check out a magazine. Kim really likes the badge section. Okay, great. That's cool. I got plenty of them to check out. So, Tim, stuff was so much better made then, and there's some truth to that as well, considering those are almost 85 years old in that condition. So, I've got some super cool badges. I've got some super rare badges that we can definitely keep checking out and have a lot of fun with. So, tonight's magazine, let's go back to another Motor Trend, back into the 70s to the February of 1975 issue. The cover on this magazine is iconic. You can't miss it, and everybody will know exactly what it is immediately. The cover car for the Motor Trend, February of 1975. That's right, Dan. Those definitely caught your eye when you walk up to the car. In fact, if you go back on YouTube, I picked up a 37 Plymouth last spring. Pretty much a complete car. I've sold a few pieces off of it, but the grill on that car is absolutely amazing. And if you didn't catch that video on that 37 Plymouth sedan that came in last spring, be sure to go check that out. You can actually see where this mounts on the grill and get a good look at the grill on that car. So cool piece. Big job. Still got those half-ton badges. I'm not sure which ones of those we were talking about on the half-ton badges. But the Motor Trend of February 1975, the cover car was the revolutionary AMC Pacer. Obviously, you would not miss this magazine today if you've seen it sitting around, because everybody knows exactly what that thing is. It says 1975 and a half Pacer. It's here. AMC's revolutionary new small car. So let's go ahead and flip this open and check out a few things in here. Starting off with, they call it the UFO report. I don't know why they call it the UFO report, but the article part of the UFO report was actually on what is now an iconic landmark down in Texas. And this talks about when it was originally built and originally set in place of Cadillac Ranch. Shows the cars immediately after they were buried, still for the most part intact. Obviously now they're just, hulks that have been with, 6 inches of spray paint on them. But this talks about the project, how it came about, and then buying cars and actually setting them. Rectangular for the license plate. Yeah, I've still got some of those half tons. I think so this is a 1.5, but if these are the ones we're talking about, I've still got these in halves, 1.5s, and 2.5s, all new old stock. I've got bundles of these things. So if that's what we're talking about, big job, yes, I do still have some of those. So the Cadillac Ranch report was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. I don't know how well you guys can make out the pictures of when this was originally put together back in the mid 70s. So flip forward a few pages to our cover car. Suddenly it's 1980. American Motors new Pacer is the freshest, most creative, most people-oriented auto to be born in the U.S. in 15 years. Pretty bold statement. Obviously, here's a good picture of the Pacer right there. The Pacer's another car that for years were shunned, laughed at, overlooked, and, with the exception of Wayne's World, pretty much forgotten about. Now, they are another car that is starting to get their due. Pacers, Gremlins, people are starting to dig these things. Finding good ones in today's world, almost impossible because nobody kept them. Nobody cared. Add a picture of a Pacer X in the article. Gave a lot of specifications of it. Showed a few interior shots. Were the BBs still in the dirt caddies? I don't remember if it said they pulled the motors or not. I would assume they probably did, but I don't remember. I just kind of skimmed the article, and I don't remember. Bill, do you still have that fishbowl? I've actually, believe it or not, I've got several Pacers. There's a few of them in the yard, and I've also got some that I've got one that is stashed in the building as well. So that is a complete car that literally looks like they shut the key off 30 years ago, and that's exactly how it sits. Of course, the paint's faded and flaking off, but it's a completely intact pacer that we stuffed in one of the shops just to kind of keep in case we ever wanted to do something with it. So David W says the pacer was originally going to be front wheel drive. Big job. The caddies look like box cars gone wild. So old school made it tonight. Glad you're here. Let's see. Skimming this real quick. It says the headlights were removed and they were cemented into place. Wheel covers were welded onto the wheels, which in turn were welded to the hubs to prevent theft. But otherwise, the cars are intact, except for some broken windows and dings and dents. So apparently, it does not say anything about pulling the engines out of them. Number one, Pacers and Gremlins fall into the custom van section of the car show. But like I said, neat cars that have been underappreciated for years, and we're starting to see a little bit of life back in them. So it was pretty cool to see the article really making a pretty big deal out of it. Suddenly it's 1980. They felt the car was so innovative and so new that it was essentially 5 years ahead of its time. So let's keep boogieing through here and check out a few other cool things in this issue. I thought this one was really interesting. We talk on here about some Monzas and things like that. Kevin, Pacers looked like you could box them up and send them in the mail. Not much styling. However, their styling was very unique. That's what makes them stand out today. There's nothing else like them out there. So but here's kind of a cool article, a comparison to road tests. Starfire V6, obviously the Oldsmobile version. Skyhawk V6, the Buick version. Monza V8, the Chevy version. As well as the Scirocco, the Volkswagen, and then the Toyota Corolla and the Celica GT. So once again, black and white, still not a lot of color in these magazines in the mid-70s, but all those cars lined up for the road test. That's right, Kevin. A lot of graffiti on the caddies. When we were there 3 or 4 years ago, this stuff's like 6 or 8 inches thick. It like falls off in chunks. There's so much paint on those cars. But the road test comparison between all these, and there again, this was Motor Trend. This was geared towards selling new cars. So they had a nice big breakdown on a big chart on all the specifications of the Monza, the Skyhawk, versus the Scirocco and all of that. So like I said, these were, Motor Trend was designed to inform people about new cars, which is what's great now because we're looking back with 2020 hindsight. No, number one, there was no Pontiac in the article. Big job. Pacers were like having a bathroom in a greenhouse. Yeah. So nope, they didn't have a Pontiac in here. Just the Skyhawk, the Monza, and the Starfire. But like I said, it was it's there again. It's cool to look back. The Skyhawk was a V6, and actually in the article here it said V6 and the Starfire earlier, but in the specs it says the Monza and the Starfire were V8, and the Scirocco, the Corolla, and the Celica were all 4 cylinders. So there again, you go back, and especially with the popularity we're starting to see in Monza, it's cool to be able to go back and dig through this stuff. Obviously, we don't have time to get into all the details on here, but it's cool to check it out. Next article we were going to catch, fuel economy tests. 76 fuel economy test. What will she do? The question used to refer to a car's top speed now refers to mileage. Union Oil sets out to get the answer. Actually has their big to-do set up where they started their fuel economy runs. And obviously in the mid-70s, fuel economy was when it really, really started becoming an issue and really started becoming something that people were starting to really pay attention to. Now, these tests were done in controlled environments, all done in the same environment, similar, same speeds, things like that. What I found interesting about this, because when we turn the page, it does give you a big, big breakdown on what all these new vehicles were capable of doing on fuel economy. What I found interesting was the way this chart is broken down was by weight. Weight range for vehicles that weighed 2,876 to 3,250 pounds. vehicles that weigh from 3,251 to 3,750 pounds. That's how they broke down their subcompact, their compact, all the way up to their weight range of 5,251 to 5,170, which obviously included the Buick Electra 225, the Cadillac Sedan DeVille, the Impala Wagon, New Yorker Brougham, Ford LTD, Ford T-Bird, Lincoln Continental, Oldsmobile 98, and Cadillac Sedan DeVille, so all the way up to your full-size cars. So that's why I've never seen a chart broken down by weight, vehicle weight. And then it would give you, they would do an urban cycle, a suburban cycle, and an interstate cycle. So you had all of those different types of driving habits to compare to based on how you were going to use your vehicle. Yes, you're blocking the cameras. So that was, there again, it's definitely not the typical type of chart that we're used to seeing in one of these magazines. It would give cubic inches of the engine, carb type, engine type, 4, 6, 8, V6, V8, and then the fuel economy, like I said, in the urban cycle, the suburban cycle, and the interstate cycle. So you could compare all these different vehicles in their one handy dandy chart in this issue of Motor Trend. So definitely different than what we're used to seeing when we come to a chart to study vehicles with. That's right, Old School. I don't think Old School was here when you were up here earlier, being kind of a pain. Actually, you're sitting on my notes too now, so you're going to have to move because you're sitting on my notes. But that was the last ad we wanted to check out, or last article we wanted to check out tonight before we start getting into the ads. So she's going to sit over here on the side of the desk now, on top of the Raffle stuff. So she's very, very good at being in the way. She's got being in the way down pat. So let's check out some cool ads. Martin Designs, what type of transmission fluid I need for a 48 Pontiac? Not for sure. I don't have any clue on that. I've never had one in that era that I was driving. Big Job's already calling you Primer. So, or Old School. Yeah. Big Job's calling you Primer. You might have a new name instead of Gray Kitty. You might be Primer now. At least you'll definitely be Primer on Sunday Night Live Chat from now on, Gray Kitty. So let's check out some ads. First ad we're going to start off with this one's kind of a half ad, half article. But new products. And what was cool, a couple of things in the new products that we're going to check out. Martin Designs, would it be gear oil? If it's a manual, I'm sure it would be gear oil. I don't think Pontiac had an automatic in 48. So I think it would be gear lube because that's one thing I was trying to remember. Pontiac had an automatic by 48, but I don't think they did. So, but in the new products, 8-track tape players, obviously. Thrifty tape. Now even the big companies are getting into the low-price tape decks. RCA has introduced a $39.95 Stereo 8 solid-state cartridge player. Another one right next to that. I'm going to read this a little bit before I show it to you because they're right beside each other. Pinto Snoot. You're bored with the looks of your Pinto, right? The biggest problem is the dead area between the leading edge of the bumper and the grill. So fill it with a new grill. This one from Cody Accessories is made of fiberglass and can be added in about a half an hour. So we'll check some of this stuff out in the new product section. I'll hold it up here so maybe you guys can see it. The accessory 8-track tape deck and the new nose for Pintos, which to me almost kind of makes them look like a Pontiac Sunfire, but maybe that's just me. So. But that's some of the cool stuff in new products and lots of other cool stuff in there too. Like I said, we could go through every single page of of all these magazines. We just don't have the time to do it, so we kind of hit some of the high points. Martin does have an automatic. It was the first year for it. So, John's on with us. Has an 80 Cutlass dark blue with bucket seats. People beg me to sell it all the time. Yeah, the G body stuff is getting crazy. So that's another huge part of this market shift that we're seeing. Something else that Motor Trend was doing in this time frame that I hadn't seen before that we're going to check out real quick while we're flipping through ads. Motor Trend's Lucky license plates. They took an entire page and took a picture of a license plate from every state and put it in here. If your license plate made the cut for that month, they sent you $10. Never seen anybody do anything like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. And it's weird that I've never seen a magazine actually print license plates from all states. Say, hey, if one of these is your plates, you're a winner. Thought that was definitely unique as well. Another ad that's not car related, but definitely caught your eye as you were flipping through the magazine was the Air National Guard. Do something different around home. Well, they showed a picture, and this had to have been not necessarily, don't want to say Photoshop, they didn't exactly have Photoshop in 1975, but they got a picture of a jet sitting in front of the house in the driveway. So, like I said, even though it's not necessarily car related, it was definitely an eye catching ad put out by the Air National Guard in 1975. So, here's another ad that we're going to catch. That another cool one, especially to me, because as you well know, I love cars. These cars, the '75 Camaro. It runs leaner, it runs cleaner, and it saves you money every mile, which is a whole lot of different ad compared to how they were advertising the Camaro 5 or 6 years prior to that. Literally, it runs leaner, it runs cleaner, it saves you money every mile. Not exactly the slogan they were using in 1969 and 70 when they were selling Super Sports, Rally Sports, and Z28s based on a performance image. So, Martin Designs fluid is clean, looking to just have to drain it and do an engine swap. And I'm not sure. I don't want to tell you one way or the other on that fluid because I'm not totally sure on that. Number one, it was probably a list of a-hole drivers they wanted to get back at. That could be possible too. I never thought of it from that direction, but maybe there was a cheap shot they were taking back at some people. So, now, another thing we've been kind of mixing in a little bit here and there, and you guys have gotten a kick out of, is a few liquor and cigarette ads because of the time period back in the 70s. And here's another one. We looked at this one, a similar type one for Walker's Deluxe Straight Bourbon Whiskey last week. And there was another one in here as well because they were showing them with classic cars. This time, a 1930 Cadillac Fleet Roadster. And also, like I said, and this was even a color ad. A lot of the ads are color, but we're still seeing it's pretty spotty on color in the magazine. But once again, like we looked at last week, a deluxe whiskey, and they had a classic car, obviously to raise the status of their whiskey, that we're up here at this level, at this tier, with this type of elegance and quality with our whiskey. So there again, different times, but still cool to look back and check it out. Next ad we're going to catch, it's an Oldsmobile ad. Look what Oldsmobile hatched. 2 new sporty hatchbacks. One being the Starfire, one being the Omega. The Starfire, obviously the similar body to the Mons and the Skyhawk we just looked at. The Omega on the Nova Skylark platform body, and obviously, as we see in this picture, both available in hatchback. At the time, a fairly popular body style that a lot of people liked, and at the time, very convenient. Which obviously, now that everybody's going to SUVs and crossovers, I guess we're kind of seeing that make a comeback because that's what they've got. So easier to load, easier to store, and maybe that's part of the appeal to all the SUVs and crossovers that we're seeing out there in today's world. Here's a fun ad that I found, and it's for an art project, believe it or not, for doodle art. The Fun Machines. You could order this kit, and basically it was a blank piece. It was a black and white piece of paper. You ordered the kit, you got the prints, and you colored them. And this was the set for the Doodle Art Fun Machines. And I had to show this to you because this is all definitely 1970s era stuff. You ordered them, they came just like this up here in just basically an ink drawing. You colored them in, and then you had all this super cool artwork. And you got it all by ordering the Doodle Art Kit. Classic Ride Side. Never been a fan of those X bodies after 74. But that's some of the shifts that we're starting to see because there's a lot of people that did, and now they're starting to look for that stuff. So they're again kind of different stuff to be thinking about. But the Doodle Art ad, I had to show you. That was just too cool. And we'll work our way towards the back here. Number one, those Monza bodies were super aerodynamic and designed to be, but they designed them standing still. Another cool ad was for Motorama, now open Cars of the Stars, Hollywood's newest and most exciting attraction. Motorama Cars of the Stars Museum. Some of the cars that they were touting in their ad, Bonnie and Clyde's movie death car, not the original one, the Munsters coach, the Batmobile. So, super cool new car museum opening in Hollywood, showing off these vehicles that people were familiar with at that point as being on TV and in movies. So, thought that was pretty cool. Classic ride-sided doodle art reminds me of the classic of the cartoon mags. I had some of those as well. Ian never been a fan of the X bodies after 72, so that's right. They were the accordion B-pillar cars. I do remember that. I got a 75 Nova, and that's in the yard. That's exactly what it looks like on the B-pillar as an accordion. Kevin, is that the year the Rat Fink cartoons came out? Rat Fink was earlier than the 70s. It was in the 60s. So, but we've gotten to the back of the magazine. We're going to check out the back cover. Then we're also going to check out a few classifieds. Inside the back cover, Gabriel Shocks, home on the range, no matter how tough the territory. And to show that they actually had a marshal's badge with handcuffs and holsters showing off their shock absorber, showing they can take the rough terrain out in the wild, wild west. Pretty elaborate ad for a shock absorber, but obviously, shock absorbers, just like a lot of stuff back then that we aren't as familiar with now, wore out a lot more frequently than what they do now. So pretty big part of the auto repair market at that time. Alan NC, what a fun word, Motorama. Yeah, that just like the GM Motoramas back in the 50s. Ian, the 74 C body wasn't bad. Yeah, I like a lot of those bigger cars back then too. Big job. That's cool. Now my son goes on computer and gets pictures of my cars, and my grandson colors them up. And the last ad we're going to check out on the back cover, once again, smoking a little bit different, viewed a little bit differently back in the 70s than today. If I'm going to smoke, I'm going to do it right with Winston's. Some people smoke a brand for its image. I don't. You can't taste the image. I smoke for taste. I smoke Winston. And he looks pretty serious about it when he's telling you about why he's going to smoke his Winstons. To me, and I don't smoke. I never have been a smoker. But what I like about this is, there again, going back in time. I was born in 74, so my memories is very small. Back in the late 70s were of this type of advertising, these type of clothes, these type of people, this look. So that's why I get a kick out of going back on. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a smoker, never have been. But there again, the ads are taking us back in time, and that's what's fun about it. Ian is a Winston smoker. Well, like I said, this guy's, you probably agree with this guy then. So BW's Garage says he looks like Wolverine. Ian says they're naturally smooth. Kim, how many buttons does he have undone? Only 2, actually. If we look close, just the collar and one right here, and then that one's the third. So they probably spaced them out a little further back in the 70s just for shots like this. So Classic Ride Society loves the old school ads and the Marlboro Man. Yeah, if you guys like those, and like I said, I haven't done a lot of that stuff before, but it's kind of fun to work some of those in. We can sure keep trying to work 1 or 2 of those in as well too, just because they're fun to check out and fun to go back in time. Classified ads. What do they have in the classified ad section this month in Motor Trend? Well, let's check a couple of them out. A 55 Mercury Sun Valley. That was the half glass tops, just like a Ford. The Ford glass top and the Mercury Sun Valley, they had a half roof that was plexiglass. And this one's a 55 Sun Valley, only 1,787 built, 39,000 miles, $5,000. To me, that was probably a lot of money back in the day, but I don't know what those cars were bringing. That was essentially a 20-year-old used car, just starting to get into the collector car market. But seems like a lot for the time, but obviously a rare car and a super cool car. I do like 55, 56 Mercuries, probably 56, a little more than 55. There was actually one of those that's not at the auction this weekend. But thought that was a unique car being a Sun Valley. Let's see. Rusty Nails, he's probably dead by now. Yeah, more than likely. Classic Ride Society, that guy is too manly for today's society. And there's probably some truth to that, too. That ad wouldn't fly just because of that. Old school, Tesla will be collectible, too. Jody, my grandpa smoked Camels and lived to be 85. Yeah, there's a lot of people that smoke and live for years, but overall, I don't think it's very good for you. Something else that was kind of interesting in the classifieds, a 52 Willys Aero sedan. We talk about those a little bit on here. Thomas has got to jump off. Thanks for being here, Thomas. Appreciate it. I've got some Willys Aeros over in the new yard, so we've done some videos on some of those cars as well. But the one that really, really stood out in classifieds tonight, and shockingly, the picture's small, and you can't even tell for sure from the picture, and it doesn't say which one this is, but it is a 67 Shelby. It does not say whether it's a GT350 or GT500. But they want $3,000 for it for a 67 Shelby. So definitely one that anybody would definitely love to snatch up in today's world. When we go back and look at what those cars were bringing. But I've got a buddy that got his first Shelby, and I think it was a 67, and he got it in 74, I think. And I think he said they gave $2,500 for it. So that was probably market on that car in 75, as crazy as that sounds. But there again, different place, different times, different world. But that was the world in February of 1975 when Motor Trend had a Pacer on the front of the cover, and they were dealing with the gas crisis, and really macho-looking guys smoked Winstons. So anyway, some comments popping up. Ian, you can roll up almost anything and smoke it. Old school secondhand smoke is worse. 85, number one, 85 is pretty old for a Camel. Let's see. Ian says Winston gave up. Lots of comments popping up. I'm trying to catch some of these. I'm not following. I'm trying to keep up with what I can. Big job. My buddy's dad had a 55 Merc when he was in kindergarten. It was awesome to ride. It was like a fancy version of a 55 Crown Victoria. Yep. So hopefully you guys are still hanging on there on Facebook. We're still showing some viewers. We must have feed issues. I'm not getting any comments if you guys are commenting. And like I said, if you are on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments because that is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. If you want to participate in trivia or comment, you will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook or the Nobody Show page channel on YouTube. So James from Virginia just jumped on with us. And let's do some trivia, and then let's give away a Buddy L. Trivia. Going to give away another oil can for trivia this week. Another red and white Phillips 66 from our good friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry in Russell, Kansas. Be sure to check him out at autoartistry.com or at his Auto Artistry Facebook page and check out the builds that he has going on. They do some super cool stuff over there. Done a lot of work for both me and my dad. So great guys, very talented, and they do some cool stuff. Scott says Facebook is still working, so that's a positive sign. So I believe Alan in C1 last week, so he's out this week. So everybody else is in. Let's see. Lots of stuff popping up here. Let me try to get caught up here real quick. BW's Garage, we've all secondhand smoked two backs today back in the day. There's probably some truth to that. I remember that. My grandma and grandpa smoked. My grandpa on the other side smoked the pipe. And everywhere you went into, there were people smoking. That's another good point. Number one, those ads always feature a dude that looked like he played hockey for the Flyers in the 70s. Ian says those were the 60s and 70s models. Yeah. Big job. Winston sponsored everything, NASCAR and NHRA for years. 70s, 80s, up in the 90s. It was the Winston Cup, and NHRA was Winston as well. Brandon says 52 Studebaker champion. Let's see. Ian says Winston's comparable to American Spirits, but cheaper. Kim says Broad Street bullies. They couldn't smile in the ads, though, because they didn't have any teeth. That's right. Classic Ride Size. We talked about Winston sponsored NHRA and NASCAR for years. When they did change the laws on tobacco ads, Winston got heavily involved in both of those formats for marketing purposes. Alan, did AMC make a four-wheel drive car? Yes, they did. They made the what is, I think, another car that I think is going to become very popular, the AMC Eagles back in the early 80s, that were four-wheel drive cars that at the time, basically ahead of their time, really, when we look at the all-wheel drive platform available in a lot of vehicles and crossovers and SUVs today. So yes, they did, and they're neat cars. But anyway, trivia for the Phillips 66 can from our friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry. We did a video in the video I posted last week in my buddy's salvage yard that where I stop by there occasionally, and he lets me do some videos even though he's not open. We've been throwing some of that stuff up. Bruce, Benny in the house. Rusty Nails, his battery's about dead, so we might be losing him. So BW's Garage says just bring back the Winston Cup. So we did a video in my buddy's yard, and there again, we just check out a lot of cool random stuff because everything in there is random. Those cars are sitting where they were dropped the day he brought them in, whenever that was. He's been there since the early 60s, so whenever it came in, wherever there was a slot, that's where it ended up. That's where it sits today. But we did walk past a Buick in that yard. It was a four-door hardtop. What was the year and the model of that Buick? Keep an eye on both formats, year and model on that Buick in the video from my buddy's yard. As we get ready to give away the Buddy L, as soon as Gray Kitty moves here, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that was you, Classic Ride Side. I didn't realize that's where he was going with that. So, no, not the Notre Dame football coach, number one. That's right, Big Job. He has a ton of stuff. There are thousands and thousands of cars in there. Some guesses starting to come up, but not the correct one. It was a four-door hardtop Buick in that video from a few days ago. So, and we're going to get ready to give away the Buddy L as I'm keeping an eye on comments. And remember, here it is. You guys all voted on this. We held up 3 trucks. We looked at 3 different trucks. This was the one you guys voted on as the winner to be given away this month. Take one more look at it before we give it away to somebody else. Beautiful truck. The bed's not scratched up. The bottom's not scratched up. The plastic grill guard's not broke. Amazing condition. Lots of guesses coming in, but nothing as of yet. That's right, Kevin. It's a great truck. It really, really is. And hate to give it away, but when I'm out looking around and I find something cool, I bought 3 trucks that day, and I let everybody vote. I'm keeping the other 2. The other 2 were Tonkas, and we're going to give away the Buddy L. Big Job says it blows his mind he had so much. Lots of guesses coming up. We need year and model. We're going to give it a little bit more time, but not a lot. We're going to give it about another minute. Oh, there it is. Old School got it. It was a 66 LeSabre. So, Old School got it tonight. The four-door hardtop Buick in that video was a 66 Buick LeSabre. So, that was it. And I think to make it a little bit more challenging, we're going to start. I'll start timing the trivia as well. So we'll that'll make it even a little more interesting, I think. Maybe we'll try to work some of that in for next year. Maybe we'll put that in for next year. We'll see how things work out. But anyway, the Buddy L truck that we're getting ready to give away as of right now. Who is in? Al DeLudy is in. My dad is in. Steve Ehrlich, like I've told you guys before, he buys his tickets just like everybody else because he wants to play along as well. Brian Winters, BW, is in. Lee Carr is in. Darren Ehrlich is in. Big Job, Ronald is in. Old School is in. Lee Carr is in again. So Lee's pretty serious about trying to win this truck. So anyway, who's ready to give it away? Everybody's name that I read off is in the big Buick oil can right now. They're all down in here, all mixed up down there in the corner. And we do have, obviously, like we've talked about, a second prize for the name that comes out second. Keep turning the can around, stirring this stuff up, shaking it around. Tonight, for the second name out of the hat, right out of the big Buick oil can, we're going to give away another one of these cool little weight rating tags. This one's a little rougher than our new old stock ones, but it's got some character to it. It's still very readable and has decent color. It is a green 1.5 ton weight rating tag that somebody notched the corner out of. Why? I don't know. Is that where they, did they need to clear a tail light? Did they need to clear something on the other license plate? Who knows? So it's got some great character. It is green. The back of it still looks pretty good. This piece is almost 6 inches by about 2 3/8 is the size on this one. So that's for the second name coming out of the hat. Has Old School paid his debt to Big Job? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. So we'll see. I mean, maybe Big Job's got extra ones in there. I don't know. But here we go. Let's give away a super cool, awesome Buddy L truck. Hear him shaking around in there inside the big Buick can. Okay, do I have one? I think I got one. I've got one. I've got one. It's right here. Oh, it's actually my dad won. And it was not rigged. You didn't see me look in there. My dad won the truck. So, and like I said, he buys his chances just like everybody else does. So, he's been wanting to play along, and he's been asking me for several months, and I finally told him, I said, that's fine. I'm going to tell everybody that you're playing, but he buys his chances just like everybody else does. So that, I mean, I hope everybody's cool with that, but he buys his tickets just like everybody else because he watches, he hangs out with us, and he wanted to get in, and he wanted to play along. So that's what we did. Shipping cost is pretty easy on this one. So drop it off next time I'm out at his house. So, Vic says YouTube's cutting out. So, on him, hopefully it keeps hanging in there. But let's give away a weight rating tag. Everybody wanted to do something for the second can out of the hat, so here we go. Okay, we've got one right here. And if it's my dad, it doesn't count because whoever wins the first one doesn't win the second one. So what do we got here? Make sure I got one. I've just got one. Brian Winters, BW's Garage, is getting the weight rating tag. So yeah, guess what I'm getting for Christmas this year? Yeah. So BW's Garage is our second place winner for tonight. So I will get that out on the way to you. And that's what we got for the November raffle. So I hope everybody's cool with that. But like I've been telling you, my dad buys his tickets just like everybody else, but he watches, he hangs out, he wanted to play along. So I told him I was cool with that. So I hope everybody else is too. And none of you saw me look in there. And just so you know, I know you can see there's a whole bunch of other names in here. It wasn't just his. All you guys were in there just like you were supposed to be. So but now we have to empty out the big Buick oil can for December. Now, I know a lot of you guys dig the magazines. We have a lot of fun with the magazines. We check out a lot of cool stuff with the magazines. And we love looking back in history. We love studying the time. And like I said, number one, Chad, you've got to stop saying, I've got one. I keep getting heartbroken. Well, I just want to make sure I've got one. I don't want to pull out like 3 of them all stuck together and then not know who to give it to. So that's why I'm very, very careful about making sure I can only feel one in my fingers. So BW's Garage, thanks everyone. Is excited as he got called. He's as excited as if he got called down the aisle on The Price is Right with Bob Barker. Well, that's great. So, anyway, Ian, I don't think if you sent me payment, Ian, on the to get it on the raffle this month, I didn't get it. So, if you sent payment for this month's raffle, then be sure to get with me. So we'll try to figure out what happened. Big Job says he doesn't think God wants him to win any more toys. Number 1 says, BW, is it an ornament for the tree or a freeze plug cover on the gasser? It could be a good point. Never thought of that. That could be a Christmas tree ornament. I don't know. Anyway, but it could kind of go either way, I guess. So cool piece. That's something else I thought about doing. I also thought about doing videos for women to know what to buy car guys for Christmas. I don't know if there'd be any interest in that or not, but I've always thought if I should do some videos on what to buy your car guy for Christmas or what to look for your car guy for Christmas. I was always curious if anybody would watch any of that stuff either. BW's Garage, we could put it on the trunk lid because it's a wide load. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, we have a ton of fun with the magazines on here. I like doing them. It's awesome looking back in time. We have a ton of fun with it. Don't think you're allowed to make those videos in 2021 because they're Christmas videos. Yeah, I never thought of it from that perspective either. So what are we going to give away in December? Let's give away some magazines. How about that? Darren, do I have a rear diff for a 65 or 66 Mustang or similar width? Depends on which one you wanted. I've got a few Mustangs out there, but nothing I know the rear ends are any good in. How about we give away a bunch of the small mags, the little tiny custom magazines? Yep. We're going to give away a stack of custom rodders. How about that? We have 8 issues of custom rodder. This one is June. Oh, number 1 says, no, a man telling women something. Yeah. That's another good point as well. BW's Garage. Kim is eyeing it, and she's been bullying on me for 31 years. Tim likes the magazines. John, what was the first year of the Monte Carlo? 1970s when the Monte Carlo came out as a regular production car. Loch Ness Fox is here. Glad you made it. This issue of Custom Rodder is June of 1960. This one is July of 1960. August, this is probably of 60 as well. I just grabbed a handful of these. August of 60 Custom Rodder. September, we're going to stick with our 60 theme, I believe. Yes, September of 1960. Number 1, ever find anything in the pages, a receipt or a love letter or anything? Nah, not really. I haven't really found anything too cool in any of these magazines. October of 60. New custom trends for 61. February, we moved February of 62 on this one. August of 62. Kevin's got to jump off. Thanks for being here. And October of 62 of Custom Rodder featuring hood scoops. So 8 of these, something a little different. We haven't done anything like this before, so I hope you guys like these too. You know, we look at a lot of stuff on here that we just don't have time to do really deep dives into them, so we're going to give away 8 of these. So let me know what you think of this. Is this a cool packet, or do we not ever want to think about doing these again? But this is what we're going to do for December. Now, as a bonus, we're going to throw in one more. It is the Hot Rod Magazine Basic Engine Swapping. Also a small magazine, similar, literally same size. John, what was the only GM convertible built in 76? That'd be the Eldorado. was the last one that they made. But the engine swap, the basic engine swapping, it's the same size as the little mags. There's the stack. 8 little magazines plus the basic engine swapping is what we're going to give away in December. As always, $1 a chance. You can use PayPal. You can send me a check, money order. I've had some guys just throw some cash in the mail. Address for mailing information as well as PayPal information is in the text for this video. If you click on the video, look at the text, that information is in there, as well as the t-shirt information, just like the Nobody's one behind me. That's the back with the cab over on it. And on the front, nobody. Real simple. So that information's on there as well. Anybody wants a t-shirt. Now, when you send payment for the raffle, please be sure to note on there that it is for the raffle. I get a lot of payments on PayPal. I get a lot of payments in the mail. So be sure to make sure that it is denoted as raffle. And make sure that you have some contact information on there if you're not, in case you're not on with us the night we give these away. So please make sure you note it for the raffle and make sure you note it that have your information on there. Now, if you use PayPal, they do have fees. So based on what those fees are, I can only give you the amount of raffle tickets based on what I end up getting paid, because after what PayPal takes. So please bear that in mind when you use PayPal, that you may be shorting yourself a few chances because of PayPal fees, unless you use friends and family. If you use friends and family and there's no fees, if you send $20, you get 20 chances. So please keep that in mind as well on when you decide to use PayPal. So anyway, like I said, we haven't done this before. We have a lot of fun with the magazines. I thought it would be a cool deal to give you guys a stack of them. So Custom Rodders, 8 issues of Custom Rodders from 1960 to 1962, as well as the Hot Rod Magazine Engine Swap Magazine. So neat stuff. We love them. We see a ton of cool stuff in them. These are going to get, somebody is going to have these in their collection where they're going to be able to sit there, study them, enjoy them, and learn from them, and do a deeper dive into them than we can do when we don't have the time to get that deep. Let's see. What else is coming on? James says, that's a cool package. Cool. I'm glad you like it. Big job. I'm in support of the Church of Oil and Iron. Hey, yeah, me too. I think it's great that you guys look at this and what we do here, that you hold it in that kind of a regard, that it's worth hanging out like that. Number one, do we get to vote on the toy going on the Toy Tuesday t-shirt? Possibly. Yeah, that would be something we could do. So number one, Nobody's Sunday Chat, where everybody is a somebody. And that's a good way to put it. That's a very good way to put it, number one, because all of your guys' participation is what makes this what it is. So anyway, getting close towards the end, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up this week, and then get ready to start wrapping up. So I'll definitely keep an eye on comments as we go through this. But next week, what's coming up on videos? I've picked up a 1970 International pickup, cool truck. I got a video coming on that. Finally got a video shot on the Auto Bianchi, which I've been promising you guys for months. The Auto Bianchi, which is a weird little car that I don't know hardly nothing about, and I'm sure you guys are going to correct me on the video because I don't know anything about it other than what I Googled. So that's a neat little car. It's rough. There's not a lot left of it, but it's a little tiny clown car. I had to buy it. It was a package deal. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I got to have it. Another video from my buddy's yard, plus something that we have not done in a long, long time coming up on videos. And I've neglected this to a certain extent because I've been so busy with new inventory. If you've been hanging out with us for a while, you know all about this. If you're new to us, a couple of years ago, I bought a small yard that is literally on the north side of my property. And we've been walking through that because nothing in there is organized. It was literally where it was dropped years ago when it came in. And there's a lot of stuff in there. We've done videos on most of it. We showed you a lot of it, but we have not done anything in there in several months. I've had so much new inventory coming in to cover and show you guys and keep you guys up to speed. Finally went over there last week, so I need to start getting a little more content out of here. We've gotten through most of it, but there's probably easily another 8 or 10 videos in there on cars that we haven't seen. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, please go back and check them out. I've just been calling it the new yard. This is the simplest way I can call it, the way to put it. You can check it out on there and see what's going on in there. We'll get some of that up. But like I said, I got this new inventory to get worked in, but still need to keep getting some of that stuff up as well on the new yard on the north side of me. Plus, I've got to get some stuff hauled. I've got to get cars picked up. I think I bought 2 more pickups. I didn't pick anything up this week because obviously I left Wednesday for Mecum. So I picked up a couple of them earlier in the week, but it was newer stuff, nothing interesting. But I had a guy text me some pictures while I was in Kansas City, so I called him, told him I'd take those trucks. I've got to get on that stuff this week as well. So I've got tons more new inventory coming also. So a lot of stuff happening there as well. I'm kind of the end of my sheet. Like I tell you guys, I try to build this every week. This one was a little bit short, obviously with me being out of town. But I built this sheet to try to keep up to speed with everything. I even got it titled and everything ready to go. Try to keep working through it. Something to note on this sheet, kind of interesting, if we look right over here, episode number 90. We've done this 90 times, as crazy as that sounds. So, anyway, some comments popping up here. Scrolling actually kind of quickly here. Let's see what we got here. John, what was the top-selling American car of 81? That I don't remember off the top of my head. Bill, take care, everybody. Glad you made it tonight, Bill. Big job. Worst part of the show is Monday is a work day, and me and Elle always look forward to seeing all you guys here. Well, that's cool. Big job that you guys are. We all look forward to hanging out and seeing everybody on here and being part of this community that we're building. Number one, have you invited those kids in short sleeve white dress shirts and black ties and backpacks to do some filming or metal detecting in the yard? It's our mission to help for free. No, I haven't. Big job. Am I going to do Christmas editions of the show? I hadn't thought about that either. I'll put that in my notes and see what if we want to work some of that in, which I don't know what we need to do for a Christmas edition. Maybe I'll wear a Santa hat or something. I don't know. Number one, are we going to do a Boxing Day broadcast? I don't know. I never really studied Boxing Day that much. I don't know who. Maybe me and Gray Kitty can switch positions. I don't know. We'll see if she's interested in that. See if she wants to take my job, and I'll take hers and sleep all day. Kevin says good night. Glad everybody made it. John says it was Chevy Citation was the number one selling car in 1981. But that's what we've got. Gray Kitty's back. Get off the computer. You step on the keyboard, you're going to screw everybody up. You don't care, do you? No. You just say, I should be paying attention to you, not hanging out with everybody on here. But anyway, that'll wrap us up for tonight. I'll keep an eye on comments for a few more seconds here as we get ready to roll. As always, I super appreciate you guys swinging by. I hope you had a lot of fun. Big job. Dress up like Santa and Primer the elf. Can you be an elf? Are you a good elf? I know you're a pain in the butt. But I know you got pain in the butt down pat. Yes, I see you. Yes, we're all busy. I'm hanging out with everybody on the computer. Yeah, we're all hanging out here, and you're in the way. So, anyway, we'll wrap this thing up. Number one, Christmas episode. Maybe give away some red and white memorabilia. That might be a possibility. Because I hadn't thought about doing anything specifically Christmas episodes, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, Brandon says, speaking of the butt, yeah. You're up here walking around with your butt up. Yes. But that's what's coming up this week. Like I said, stay tuned. Toy Tuesday, we'll do some more cool stuff. I've got some big signs that I need to do. We may try to squeeze those in Tuesday. Loch Ness Fox says, have a good week and loves what we do. So thanks. John says, great stream. Thanks for being here to everybody. Invite your friends. Tell them what we're doing. If they want to come hang out. It's as much about you guys as it is about me. Big job. You definitely got your new Sidekick primer. Yeah. I don't think pain in the butt is the same thing as Sidekick, but anyway, big job called you the Sidekick. So we'll go ahead and wrap her up. Have a good night, everybody. Like I said, tomorrow night we'll probably get up the other video from my buddy's place. We'll do Toy Tuesday live, probably from the other shop, with some of those big signs I've got maybe. And some new inventory definitely later this week. So Leon says, good show. Thanks, Leon. I appreciate all the support. I mean, I don't catch all the comments. You know, I with the amount of videos I post on YouTube, I'm admin on about 10 Facebook pages with some friends that I help out with, like the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company. You know, my buddy with Brent's Towing. A lot of those pages, I'm admin on a lot of those pages. There are so many different pages I'm admin on that, you know, I constantly get notifications. Absolutely no way to keep up with all the comments. But I do appreciate the support and what we get on here. Obviously, I see most of the comments on here. Sometimes they get scrolling a little quick. But I do appreciate the support. It's great that you guys love it. It's great that you guys are here supporting what I do and being part of it that is building this community of gearheads hanging out and having fun. And that's what it's about. So that's what I've got for tonight, guys. We'll see you Tuesday night, and stay tuned with the new videos coming out this week. As always, if you have a question about vehicles, parts, anything like that, just give me a shout. My number's on the pages. Or if you want to get t-shirts or whatever, just give me a call, and we can sure take care of that as well. Be sure to start getting your chances in for the Stacko Little Mags for the December drawing. We're going to give that away, as well as we'll give away a secondary prize as well when we do that drawing at the end of December. Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you guys making this thing what it is. Oh, number one says do one by the fire. I didn't realize I was going to a Big Job Clarify. Do a fireside video. I don't really have a fireplace in here, so that'd be a little tough. I guess we could set up a barrel out front and do it out there, but being in the middle of winter in Kansas, that probably wouldn't work out too well either. So Big Job says burn a tire. Yeah, we could throw a tire out there and light it on fire. That would be ugly and nasty and black and sooty, and then I'd have to deal with the mess after we got done. So anyway, I'm going to jump off. Gray Kitty, you want to say bye, Gray Kitty? Say bye, Gray Kitty. Yep. Say bye-bye. 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 Yep. Stray, wild, crazy. Yeah, obviously. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you soon. We'll see you Tuesday night. Have a great week. I'm going to go haul some more cars in so we can bring you some more inventory, check out some new content, keep up with what's going on, and we will see you soon Tuesday night, and definitely hope to see you back here Sunday night for another edition of Sunday Night Live Chat. They're even saying bye to you now, goofball. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.